Hey there, this is Amy Fitzgerald, and I've really been mulling over something probably for several years now, trying to sort out and untangle it in a way that feels authentic to me. First, I want to say a little disclaimer. There's just so much we're learning, so much information and concepts, and waking up to the spiritual nature of life and the blending it with the reality of everyday tasks. And that's been the hardest for me, I think, is very magical in my spirit world. But on earth, I'm still sorting through the basics. So anyway, walking, as they say, a middle path. Felt very not in alignment with the everyday traditional ways of being human, but also not in alignment with the complete, deeply spiritual ways. So I've been sorting this, like I said, this middle path. I feel like I'm in building community in the middle of these two worlds. And I also would like to say that, the way we're communicating these days through memes and statements and things like that are really, we all know that it's way more of a discussion. There's so much more to untangle in any sort of statement or concept or idea. And the biggest block for me has been telling a truth, and like capital T, small t, I don't know what is the truth. And I don't think we're ever going to have that. All we can do is really deepen these conversations to bring more contrast, more light, more depth, more color to anything. So I'd like to leave it open. So any topic I'm speaking about is a discussion. It's more of a what do you think? How can you enhance this image that is becoming clear to me, or this concept that's becoming clearer? And how do we work with it to put it in a way that's useful as a tool? So anyway, that's a bit of my disclaimer. So sorry, I wrote some notes. You're going to see me look over here because I don't want to miss anything. I typically do that as well, and then I get frustrated and don't post. So welcome to me. So I trust that you, as the listener or a reader of anything that I write, I'm on Substack now as a modern alchemist. So if you're on there, check me out. Also, my stuff is not perfect. I do not appreciate grammar. Did I mention the human part of things that I'm struggling with? So if I've missed some grammar, please forgive. I do try to always be better. I'm a quick learner, but sometimes resistant to rules that feel silly to me. But I get it. When I reread something and I'm like, oh yeah, I see why that would have been helpful. So I want to do this deep dive into this masculine, feminine, yin, yang, yin, I think it's yang. Anyway, see, somebody sort that out with me. While diving into the spiritual community, there was these phrases that have come up: divine feminine, divine masculine, toxic feminine. And those really have never really set with me in a way that I felt like I could commit to. Also, feminine and masculine just always leads to gender. And I don't care. My brain, it just does that. It just immediately, you say feminine and I go to woman or something like this. So anyway, so I would like to really start getting clearer on these energy attributes of yin and yang. So in the next video, I promise I'll pronounce that correctly, if I'm incorrectly pronouncing it. So what I have landed on is this natural masculine and natural feminine, natural yin and natural yang. And what are those qualities? And immediately when I started looking up some of the qualities, they have it, the yin, if you're going to call yin feminine, I didn't really like how it just, because I think they put dark under feminine. I was like, what? And they put light under masculine. And I'm like, what? But not to say that that's not true, right? But it felt like this divisive tool. And we need to be more inclusive because we are all light and dark. We are all yin and yang. We are all this freaking beautiful creation of blueprint of how we're designed, right? So, and these qualities of yin and yang, gosh, I hope I'm saying that right. Anyway, they intermingle in our experience, and we are constantly, if you want to call it, walking right now this path of divine feminine, masculine, toxic masculine, feminine, like every day, all the time. So we can't make ourselves negative or positive because of that in a way of judgment. Yes, you might do it in a way of energy, right? Attraction. But like, how do we get back to the natural qualities of these attributes of ourselves? And I do believe a person that is, every single being on the planet is yin and yang. But what levels? So somebody could be experiencing life through a particular expression, a particular chosen framework of like, I'd like to have a little bit more of this yin energy in this time and less of the yang. Gosh, dang it, I'm going to keep doing it. Anyway, we'll sort it out later, right? So anyway, I am sorting through this, and this is why it's been super hard for me to judge anybody based on whatever experience that they're having, because I don't know what the intention is, and we're not equal in the way, and I say equal, I mean like built the same. No single person has the same configuration that they are experiencing life through. And every time I meet someone, I tend to look at them and like, I always think it's like a Doctor Who moment where I'm just looking at them and I'm like, how are you experiencing life? And what are you learning? And what have you, discovered? And I just find people so curious because like they have information I don't have, and they've discovered things that I don't have. And they're, and maybe I can help with what they're experiencing to like shift them into a more enjoyable, if they want to hear. Also, so like it has to be that moment of interest, I suppose, right? Like I've read that a great teacher teaches gravity when the student notices the leaf fall from the tree. And so often when we're waking up, we're so excited to share. I mean, I particularly know that when I was waking up to certain new awarenesses in the world, that I just thought I was behind. So I wanted to share it with everybody because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so fantastic. And I always use this example of awakening to be like, when I was young, I thought the moon was a circle on a piece of paper. And then later on, I realized it was a sphere. And then after that, I realized it's alive, like it has energy. It is sentient also. So this is awakening to me. And I'm sure there's more awakening to do, but this is where I am thus far. So this conversation around the natural yin and the natural yang is super important to me because I don't have to judge these qualities based on male or female. We neutralize the carbon that our form is made from when we discuss the way people behave. I've seen interviews where they talk about toxic masculinity, building bridges and rockets. I don't think that's actually accurate. I think that, and that was the first example, I think, that sparked this conversation for me because I wanted to understand what first they were trying to say, and second, what was the truth in it. And honestly, this is some fun astrology mix of me. I have a lot of Gemini placements and then Sagittarius that makes me seek the deeper truth. Like I'll dive into everything, but I want to find the nugget that is most in alignment for me. And that's what I encourage you all to do. Find what is most in alignment, and you will know it. You'll be like, aha, that feels right to me. So take in what you want and let the rest go. But this anyway, this discussion I think is important, and it's like one we've been evolving over time. But if you automatically call someone divine feminine or divine masculine, it feels like you're bringing them, you're elevating them to a place that they probably can't hold all day long, right? And I'd be in constant struggle or attempt all day to stay in that, which is okay if you want to, but like the toxic, there's lessons in the toxic as well. Like if we're not willing to look at, these are the big parts, the places where we might be toxic, then that's not going to ever serve us as a teacher. There's also this discussion I love around, I don't know if it's a true story, so don't fact check me here, but I love the story, so let's call it a story, where in Silicon Valley, it grew really quickly, and eventually the teachers could not afford to live there, and they had to move and what's that called anyway, can't think of the word right now. Commute. That's not even trans. They had to commute about 60 miles away and live 60 miles away. And so somehow it came to someone's attention, whether it was through, again, complaining is one thing, being an activist is another. And how do we sort that out, right? I'm sure that lies somewhere in this yin-yang conversation. I did it again. Anyway, count it. 50-50, vote, weigh in. How do you say it? Anyway, so from my understanding, hopefully it's a true story, they found a way, they saw what they did that wasn't in alignment with being inclusive to all parts of the community that needed to be in the area. And so they made a proper adjustment to housing. What that looks like, I don't know. Does somebody give up a piece of land out of the kindness of their heart, and allows construction to be affordable? How does that work? How do we be inclusive in that way? And I'm going to get a little political here, because I look at this, the blue and the red, as a desire to eventually be purple in a particular way. So with the blue being a little bit more of the yin, I would say, and the red being a little bit more on the yang side. So in that way, I've noticed most of the more Republican-leaning people are about protection and justice and these certain yang aspects. Here's my list here. Vigor and upwardness, outwardness, heat, I'm not sure there's that, power, things like that, logic. And so a toxic yang expression of that is going to look a particular way. If we haven't healed our natural expression of those, it's going to look one way or another. Same with the blue. If it's a more feminine side, compassion and inwardness and woman and moon and night and earth, and I often think that the earth is a representation of the feminine energies, the yin, the very giving, nurturing, things grow, upon the earth by giving life. So how we treat the earth is also a particular conversation we need to have, as far as if we want to look at her as being the feminine manifestation of yin. So do we take and take and take and take from the feminine without respecting the gifts that she brings? So, but this back and forth between presidential elections is kind of a healing, I would say. I think one of the presidents said we shouldn't split off, but I think it's a purification process to allow each side to experience their emotions, their biggest fears. They process them, and then we go back, and we go back, and we go back, and we go back and forth and back and forth until eventually people have expressed their emotions. their unconscious fears and things of that nature. And then we become more in the center, which is more purple, right? Red and blue merge to make purple. Not to say we can't still have the red and blue undertones of these, but they become more harmonious. They become more a natural expression of neutral, right? Not toxic, not divine. We are all divine, and we have access to toxicity, but what we do with it is where consciousness comes in. So thanks if you're still watching. My brain is like this all the time. So anyway, it's a healing. To me, all of this back and forth is a healing. So it's super important that we do allow the pendulum to move back and forth, because if it gets stuck on one side, we're not looking and we're not feeling and we're not listening to these aspects of ourselves that have valuable information for us to evolve. So anyway, that's my political spin. But it is the manifestation of where we are in the yin and yang area. Both toxic, both divine, because everybody is a configuration of all of it. I don't think there's a single person on the planet walking in the natural qualities of these all the time, all day, all night, every day. I think this is what ascended masters did, and that's why they were so important and such magical beings. So anyway, let me know your thoughts about this. I think it's an important concept that we can dive into. It creates this neutrality. That doesn't mean I have to judge you for where you are right now. I don't have to judge myself for where I am right now. I do have to hold myself safely, which is, by the way, my own yang energy. Like, I can intuit some information, which would be a feminine quality of myself, and my masculine would make a logical decision based on the intuition I know, the history of my relationship with someone or something. So all of these, this is how this works. It's this beautiful, I come up with a really cool idea. The yang energy, that would be that feminine, the yang energy would put it on paper, would create the drawing, so it's that a true artist, I think, has this wide open channel of creative energy, but they also have the physical gift of expression that is wide open. Now, the interesting part about this gets into a whole nother conversation is the other fields that we're working with. So one more thing about, all over the place. Yep, you're welcome. So I think our yin yang combination of energies can be affected in several ways. One, we know we can do hormone replacement. We know we can do injections and things like that will manipulate that, which is no judgment. Like, I don't know what you're doing here as a soul level on either side, because you get one group of people that will do anything, and then you get another. I mean, everybody's doing anything and everything, and that's okay, because we're learning. So no judgment necessary. It's when it rolls into our reality that we start to get uncomfortable, I think. Whether it's a trigger or whether it's in a real world physical way. So, oh my goodness, let's look at the notes one more time. Because there was some part of that I wanted to share. Oh yeah. Okay. So my example of this is, like, I've witnessed ways the body can experience, like, attraction versus, like, repulsion. And someone might take testosterone to make them more attracted to their partner, when really it might be the behavior of the partner that's not creating the attraction, and your body's just communicating with you. And I know that's, we're just, we're doing some shortcuts when we do that. Not wrong, still not wrong. But it was just a fascinating observation that we can do that. There's a movie called What the Bleep Do We Know? And when I watched it the first time, I could not hold space for all the information, so I think I'll try to watch it again. But they talk a lot about the endocrine system and hormones and things like that. So definitely check that out if this sounds interesting to you. Touching back on that one thing I brought up about, we have several energy bodies. We have the emotional body, the mental body, the spiritual body, the physical body, and all the things that are involved. If you can imagine how many things are attributed with the physical body, the nervous system, the endocrine system, all of these things are such just a wild mix of things. I clearly don't have the list for you. But if you are, say someone were going to do ayahuasca, but they weren't really drawn to doing it, they just wanted to do it because they wanted to do it. Sometimes that can open the spiritual body sooner than the emotional body can handle it, or sooner than the mental body can handle it. So it's really kind of important to really try to choose things that we're doing a little bit more with more consciousness. Still not wrong, but are we suffering a little bit more than we have to? But we are really learning and fine-tuning how to utilize. I don't think we're fully human yet. I think this emotional body, this connection with consciousness are like the last facets of becoming kind of a whole being in homeostasis, if you will. But there's this big clearing, the mind, clearing your mind, because you can imagine if you're manifesting instantly every thought that happens in your mind, this would not be fun. I think they did an episode of that on The Good Place, which I absolutely loved. I don't know if that was intentional, but yes, she ended up being in a place that she wasn't really ready for, and so everyone around her was having to experience her thoughts larger than life. So anyway, also an excellent watch. Anyway, gosh, that's so much for right now. But anyway, so this is the importance of understanding all of these aspects of ourselves. And I've noticed that a lot of autistic people, a lot of people on the spectrum in any way, shape, or form are almost more aware of all of these qualities than I would say some other people are. And I look at it like an ascending group of people and a descending group of people. So you have these from the heart chakra up, people who are pulling all of this light codes and frequencies and into the earth, right? But they have to travel through the heart chakra and down into their bodies and grounding it into the earth. And then you have this other group of people who are super grounded and super great with earth and know exactly how to maneuver it. But at this heart chakra, if they're blocked or anything, right, it'll keep them a little bit from really truly receiving some of these other frequencies. So it is this both grounding and rising that's happening within all of us in a particular way. So we are ever moving, ever shifting, beautiful reflections of so much magic. But we stumble often. So anyway, taking all of that into account, I love these kind of conversations, and I'm considering opening up some chats around this. So please send me a note if this is something that you would love to join. My website is Spiralhigher.online, and Spiralhigher@yahoo.com is my email address. If you're interested in this kind of conversation, let's get together and have an official chat. Also, there's something that I'm aware of, creating this new blueprint of how to live a simple life with not a whole lot of money, right? Like that, creating the magic and the love and the peace that comes with simplicity. And anyway, it's kind of, like I said, a little bit of a middle path, but I also don't want to be off grid in the way of disconnection from electricity and plumbing. I'm okay if you want to do that, but I want to live with electricity and plumbing. I'm in Texas, so it's hot. But anyway, that's a lot of bits and pieces here. Hope you enjoyed. Send me your notes, questions, comments. I'm down. Let's talk about it. Okay, bye.